The wrestling world stood still on Monday night as Raw delivered one of the most electrifying build-ups to a match that has everyone talking. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and the Usos are heading into what could be the most explosive War Games match in recent memory, and if you thought the drama was confined to Saturday's Showdown, think again. What unfolded on Monday's episode was a masterclass in tension, rivalry, and the kind of unpredictable chaos that reminds us why we can't look away from this sport. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button now because you won't want to miss a single moment of what's coming. The stage is set for Saturday's Survivor Series War Games, and the lineup alone is enough to make any wrestling fan's heart race. On one side, you have Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and the Usos, a collection of some of the biggest names in the business. On the other side stands a team assembled by none other than Paul Heyman, featuring Brock Lesnar, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. This isn't just a match. This is a collision of egos, ambitions, and unfinished business that has been brewing for months. Monday's Raw kicked off with the kind of confrontation that sets the tone for everything that follows. Reigns, Rhodes, and Punk came face to face, and the question on everyone's mind was simple yet loaded with implications. Who leads this team? These are three men who have carried championships, main event WrestleManias, and commanded the respect of millions. Putting them on the same team is like trying to fit three alpha wolves into one pack. Someone has to lead, but none of them are built to follow. The tension was thick as the three superstars stood in the ring. Rhodes, the current undisputed WWE champion, has every reason to believe the team should revolve around him. He's fought his way to the top and defeated legends to hold that title. CM Punk, holding the World Heavyweight Championship, brings his own legacy and a fanbase that has followed him through every twist and turn of his career. Then there's Roman Reigns, the man who dominated WWE for years, whose presence alone shifts the entire atmosphere of any room he enters. Leadership wasn't going to be decided by a simple conversation, and everyone watching knew it. Reigns made his position crystal clear in a way that only he can. He didn't mince words about his feelings toward Rhodes and Punk. He doesn't like them. But here's where it gets interesting. Reigns explained that his dislike for his temporary teammates pales in comparison to his hatred for Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. This wasn't about making friends or finding common ground. This was about priorities, and Reigns had his firmly in place. The enemy of my enemy might be my ally for now, but don't mistake that for friendship or loyalty beyond this one night. Before leaving the ring, Reigns dropped a comment that sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. He mentioned that a title would look good on his shoulder, but he deliberately didn't specify which one. Was he talking about the undisputed WWE Championship currently held by Rhodes? Or did he mean the World Heavyweight Championship around Punk's waist? The ambiguity was intentional, a psychological move that plants seeds of doubt and keeps everyone guessing. Reigns walked out, leaving his teammates and the audience to wonder what his true intentions are once War Games is over. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman's team appeared to be operating with a unity that Reigns, Rhodes, and Punk couldn't seem to find. Sometimes the villains have an easier time working together because they're united by a common goal and the guidance of someone like Heyman, a master manipulator who knows exactly how to get the best out of his clients. Brock Lesnar, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed might come from different backgrounds and have different motivations, but under Heyman's direction, they look like a cohesive unit ready to dominate. The main event of Monday's Raw was designed to raise the stakes even higher. Jimmy and Uso faced off against Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre in a tag team match that would determine which side gets the advantage in War Games. That advantage is crucial because it means having more teammates enter the match earlier, giving one team a significant edge in what is already one of the most brutal match types in professional wrestling. Every move mattered, every near fall had the crowd on their feet, and the intensity built with each passing minute. As expected in a match with this much on the line, things didn't stay contained for long. Members from both teams began interfering, turning what was supposed to be a tag team contest into a chaotic brawl. Bodies flew in and out of the ring as referees struggled to maintain any semblance of order. In the midst of the pandemonium, Logan Paul seized his opportunity. Wrestling isn't always about the most powerful move or the most technical skill. Sometimes it's about being smart enough to take advantage when your opponent is distracted, and that's exactly what Paul did. He rolled up Jimmy Uso and secured the 3 count, giving his team the crucial advantage heading into War Games. The pin might have ended the official match, but it was just the beginning of the night's chaos. What followed was a brawl that spilled throughout the ringside area, with both teams going at each other with everything they had. Superstars who moments ago were watching from the sidelines now found themselves in the thick of the action. The crowd was on their feet as the fighting intensified, and just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more heated, Roman Reigns made his entrance. Reigns didn't come out to talk or negotiate. He came to fight. Moving through Heyman's team like a man possessed, Reigns began clearing the ring with Superman punches, his signature move that has put down countless opponents over the years. One by one, members of the opposition felt the impact of those devastating strikes. For a moment, it looked like Reigns and his team were gaining the upper hand, restoring some order to the madness and sending a message about what to expect at War Games. Then the arena went dark, and a sound that every WWE fan recognizes filled the building. Brock Lesnar's music hit, and the atmosphere shifted instantly. Lesnar is a force of nature, a former UFC heavyweight champion who brings legitimate combat sports credibility to everything he does in the ring. When Lesnar appears, the game changes completely. He began his entrance with Paul Heyman by his side, the two sharing a connection that has defined much of Lesnar's WWE career. But then something unexpected happened, something you almost never see in professional wrestling. Brock Lesnar slipped and fell. In an industry where every move is calculated, where performers train for years to make everything look smooth and intentional, seeing someone like Lesnar stumble is jarring. The moment was brief but noticeable, a humanizing crack in the armor of one of the most intimidating figures in wrestling history. To Lesnar's credit, he recovered quickly, rolling over and getting back to his feet before continuing toward the ring. A lesser performer might have let that moment throw them off, but Lesnar pushed forward as if nothing had happened, his focus locked on the chaos waiting for him in the ring. What followed was exactly what you'd expect when you put this many elite athletes in one place with this much animosity between them. Both teams went at it with everything they had, trading blows and signature moves as Raw prepared to go off the air. The brawl continued with no clear winner, no one backing down, just pure unfiltered intensity that served as a preview of what's coming at Survivor Series. The show ended with the image of both teams still fighting, still unwilling to give an inch, still determined to prove they'll be the one standing tall when War Games concludes. Saturday's Survivor Series War Games is scheduled for 7 in the evening Eastern Standard Time. For fans in the United States, the event streams on ESPN, marking a significant platform for WWE's premium live events. International viewers can catch all the action on Netflix, expanding the reach of what promises to be one of the most watched events of the year. The accessibility across these major platforms means millions of fans worldwide will be tuning in to see how this rivalry reaches its climax inside the unforgiving structure of War Games. War Games isn't just another match type. It's a brutal, punishing environment specifically designed to test the limits of every competitor who steps inside. 2 rings, one massive steel cage surrounding them both, and teams entering at timed intervals until everyone is inside and the match officially begins. There's nowhere to hide, nowhere to escape, and the only way to win is by pinfall or submission. The structure itself becomes a weapon, and the team that can best use that environment to their advantage usually walks away victorious. The psychological warfare that's already taken place on Monday night adds layers to what we'll see on Saturday. Reigns made it clear that he's thinking beyond War Games, his comment about titles suggesting that this temporary alliance has an expiration date. Rhodes and Punk now have to wonder if they can truly trust the man fighting beside them, or if Reigns will turn on them the moment the match ends. Meanwhile, Heyman's team gained the strategic advantage through Logan Paul's victory, meaning they'll control the early portions of the match and have the opportunity to inflict damage before Reigns' team is at full strength. The dynamic between these competitors goes beyond just this one match. Rhodes is fighting to prove that his championship reign is legitimate, that he's not just holding a title but defining an era. Punk returned to WWE after a long absence and captured championship gold, but questions still linger about how long he can maintain his spot at the top. Reigns has been relatively quiet since losing his championship, and his comments on Monday suggest he's not content to remain on the sidelines for long. The Usos, caught between family loyalty to Reigns and their own championship aspirations, add another complicated element to an already complex team dynamic. On the other side, Heyman has assembled a team that reads like a who's who of destruction. Brock Lesnar needs no introduction, his resume speaking for itself. Logan Paul continues to surprise critics with his in-ring ability, proving he's more than just a celebrity dabbling in wrestling. Drew McIntyre brings size, power, and a chip on his shoulder about his place in the championship picture. Braun Breaker represents the next generation, a powerhouse with a legendary last name and something to prove. Bronson Reed rounds out the team with his own brand of devastating offense, a big man who moves with unexpected agility and hits with the force of a freight train. The match has everything a wrestling fan could want. Established legends facing rising stars. Long-standing rivalries finally getting their moment of confrontation. Unpredictable alliances that could dissolve at any moment. The physical spectacle of War Games combined with the deeply personal storylines driving each competitor makes this more than just a fight. This is about legacy, redemption, revenge, and respect. Monday's episode of Raw proved that the build to this match is just as important as the match itself. The segments were designed to keep fans on the edge of their seats, wondering what will happen next and who can be trusted. The slip by Lesnar, while unintentional, added a moment of authentic unpredictability to a show that was already loaded with drama. These are the moments that fans remember, the small details that make everything feel more real and more urgent. As Saturday approaches, the speculation intensifies. Will Reigns truly stand alongside Rhodes and Punk, or does he have his own agenda? Can Heyman's team maintain their unity, or will egos clash when the pressure is at its highest? Who walks out of War Games with the victory, and more importantly, who walks out with their championship ambitions intact? The questions pile up, each one adding to the anticipation of what's coming. This is why we watch. This is why millions of fans around the world will tune in on Saturday night. Professional wrestling at its best is about more than just athletic competition. It's about storytelling, character development, moments that make you jump out of your seat, and the unpredictable nature of what happens when larger-than-life personalities collide. War Games represents all of that amplified inside a steel cage, and Monday's Raw was the perfect appetizer for the main course we're about to receive. If you've made it this far, you understand why this matters. You recognize that Saturday's Survivor Series War Games isn't just another show on the calendar. It's a culmination of storylines that have been developing for months, featuring some of the biggest names in the industry all converging in one place for one night. Make sure you're subscribed because the fallout from War Games will reshape the WWE landscape for months to come, and you'll want to be part of every discussion, every reaction, and every moment that follows.